Jared Pond saves and Deflowers an Arabic princess. Pirates have kidnapped Princess Amani off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. I was drinking coffee when my commanding officer, Greg Steele, entered my office and exclaimed these words. Greg has never been a fan of subtleness, but this time he took the cake. Due to his rash action, I swallowed the coffee in the windpipe and I coughed it all over my desk and Greg's suit. Greg gave me a sour look and said, "Fucking hell! Why did you spit coffee all over my suit?" I shook my head and replied, "Greg, please be mindful that I carry a lot of post-traumatic stress from the many times I almost died protecting our country. Loud noises and sudden movements trigger that stress, so please knock on my door next time." A good answer would have been, "I understand. It's a good thing you are alleviating your stress with wine and women, instead of applying for work cover. Australia needs you." Greg Steele was a fuckwit, so he replied, "Whatever. Don't spit on my expensive suit, Jared. Scurry Morisette is still upset about Ambassador Jack Grant's death. You better make it up to us." I was about to pull my hair in frustration. Jack Grant's death wasn't my fault. I had stopped a murderous group of conspirators from killing him. However, against better judgment, Jack Grant had chosen to drink a bottle of cognac that Marcel Villeneuve had given him as a Christmas gift. That cognac had been poisoned, and all my efforts had been in vain. I sighed. There was no point in arguing with Greg, so I replied, "Very well, Greg. What do you want me to do about Princess Amani's kidnapping?" "This is not about me. This comes from Prime Minister Scurry Morisette. He promised the Emir of Dubai to send our best man to find and save the princess," Greg said. Hearing this, I smiled and felt appreciated. Although Greg Steele had never said it before, this was tacit approval that I was the best agent Australia had ever seen. Greg's next sentence destroyed my spirits. "I would like to send James, David, Matthew, or Jordan. Unfortunately, they have been busy murdering Muslim terrorists and spreading Islamophobic propaganda, so they are not allowed to visit Dubai. Thus, you are the only agent available," Greg revealed. I sighed. When would I ever get recognized at this place? "Okay, Greg, so what exactly do I need to do?" I asked. "I have organized transport for you to get to Dubai," Greg replied. "Organized transport? Do you mean like sneaking in as a spy? I thought the Emir invited me," I asked. "He did, which is why I booked you a flight ticket to Dubai. You'll depart this afternoon," Greg said and handed me a ticket. I nodded as I looked at the tickets. It was time to save the Princess of Dubai from pirates and restore my reputation after Ambassador Jack Grant's death. Next stop, the United Arab Emirates. I was resting from my flight in my Emirati hotel room when there was a knock on my door. As I opened the door, the smile of a hideous, toothless creature greeted me.
"Hello, Jared. I'm Bushra, the third queen and the stepmother of Princess Amani."
"Nice to meet you, Bushra," I lied.
"I'm going to be forthcoming with you. Jared Pond, you have reached worldwide fame for your philandering,"
Bushra said. "Don't worry. My commanding officer briefed me on the religious laws in Dubai. My pants would stay on during my stay in this country," I replied. Bushra shook her head and replied,
"No, your pants need to come off. I, Bushra al-Shakin, have dreamt about experiencing your manhood for many years."
Gulp. This was the last thing I wanted to happen. I would have preferred to face an assassin on the other side of the door. In that case, I would either survive or die, but at least I wouldn't have lingering nightmares. Bushra had planted a terrible thought in my mind. The thought of having sex with a hideous, toothless lady would give me nightmares in the foreseeable future. "I am sorry, but I am on a diplomatic mission, and I will abide by the Emirati laws," I replied.
"Is that so? Even if that will cause the mission to fail and the princess to die? I can help you,"
Bushra smirked. "You're bluffing," I replied.
"Perhaps, but are you willing to take that risk? Make love to me, Mr. Pond.
Bushra replied. I sighed, closed the door behind us and popped some pills. This would be a night to forget. The things I do for Australia. I found the pirate ship the next day. It had travelled to the south and it was in the middle of the ocean. Bushra had kept her promise and given me a crucial clue. When the pirates had boarded Princess Amani's ship, Bushra had snuck on the ship and placed her phone connected to a portable charger. After our naked interaction, she had given me the password to her Find My Phone app, and we had used this app to find the ship. It was late at night, and the moon reflected into the calm and soothing ocean. I was on a small dinghy, and I was looking at the Somalian pirate vessel ahead of me. I hoped that they hadn't noticed me, but I didn't care at this point. I had been having nightmares about the copulation with the toothless Bushra, and if the pirates could put me out of my misery, that was an acceptable outcome. A better outcome would be that I killed the pirates and rescued the princess. In that scenario, I would finally get my recognition, and I could have sex with someone beautiful to overcome my nightmares. I stopped reflecting on possible future outcomes and decided to focus on the present. I got dressed in scuba gear, and I placed my silenced pistol in a waterproof satchel. After that, I jumped into the water and swam towards the pirate vessel. I swam past a great white shark, and much to my relief, it wasn't hungry. A few minutes later, I reached the vessel. I dumped my tank, weights, and flippers, and I boarded the ship. Somehow, I was on a roll, and in no time, I had killed the pirates. After disposing of the pirates, I entered the room where the pirates had held Princess Amani. She smiled at me with her perfect, white, pearly teeth, and pure bliss filled her beautiful eyes.
Jared Pond, I knew you would come to save me,
Amani said with a soft, youthful voice. How do you know my name? I asked.
Bushra always spoke about you. She had a very dirty mind. It was our guilty little pleasure, since my father, the Emir, doesn't allow us to find sexual partners,
Amani explained. I see. Well, it's a good thing I saved you from those pirates. Why did they kidnap you? I asked.
They wanted to sell me to an Ethiopian prince who hoped that a forced royal marriage would help him reintroduce monarchy in Ethiopia,
Amani revealed. That seems like a far-fetched plan, I replied.
Yes, but is it more far-fetched than a group of French noblemen planning to kill the Australian ambassador to stop cognac exports to Australia?
Amani teased. You seem to know a lot about me, I asked in bewilderment.
Yes, but there is one more thing that I need to know. Is the pond train ready for departure?
Amani seduced. I stopped to think for a moment. It would cause a diplomatic crisis if the Emir found out that I had sex with his daughter. On the other hand, I needed to get over my terrible night with Bushra. I made up my mind. Although I hadn't brought my pills or condoms, I would not need them, and this would be a night to remember. Jared Pond, did you have sex with Princess Amani? I didn't gulp on my coffee when Greg Steele and Scurry Morisette stormed into my office to scream at me. Instead, I smiled while thinking back on that night. I recalled how I had saved the beautiful princess from bloodthirsty pirates. I had deflowered her and turned her into a sex-crazed nymphomaniac during our one night of unbridled passion. Yes, I replied with a big grin. Why? Greg exclaimed. Have you seen her picture? She's an absolute stunner, I replied. You bloody idiot! If you had saved her and kept your pants on, the Emir would have awarded Australian companies large contracts. But because of your philandering, he banned the import of Australian sheep instead. Scurry roared. So, I saved the princess from pirates, and I stopped the cruel live exports of farm animals. 2 wins for humanism in one day, I replied. I don't care about humanism. I care about profit, Scurry grumbled. But people care. Or are you going to fire me for having consensual sex with another adult? That wouldn't look very good on your behalf, I replied. Scurry and Greg left the room, and they slammed the door behind them. I exhaled. While it was annoying that they wouldn't appreciate my contribution, I would always remember how I saved a beautiful princess and enjoyed a night of uninhibited lovemaking. The end.